Hi everyone. We are going to be analyzing the NUMMI plant that was created between Toyota and GM back in the early 1980s. I'm Kira.
I'm Jonathan.
And Amusa.
Okay. To start off, NUMMI stands for the New United Motor Manufacturing Incorporated. It was created to be the new way of automobile manufacturing. Toyota and GM decided to do a joint venture together to mass produce cars in the United States, deciding on taking over GM's old facility in Fremont, California in 1984 to accomplish their business endeavors.
I'll be speaking on the background. General Motors is an American-based company. Toyota is a Japanese-based company, as well as a joint venture between Toyota and GM is what created NUMMI. And Toyota's expansion into the U.S. market, as well as like quality small cars, deal with restriction of car imports and quality over quantity. And GM wanted to produce better quality cars and deal with employees, misconduct, and improve management operations and quantity over quality.
Okay, so to start off with NUMMI, GM had decided to send over 600 of their employees to Japan, Tokyo, for on-the-job training. This was a 3-week program of classroom time and on-the-job training with the Japanese workers, immersing themselves in the Toyota manufacturing plants, and learning how to work as a team, not just as individuals. And they learned what the andon cord was and that they could stop the plant if there was a problem with assembling the car.
I'll be speaking on some advantages as well as disadvantages. Toyota was available on site and no need to provide guidance and training to the workers and showing GM exactly what their roles should be for car production. That goes into the advantages piece, as well as Toyota set up their production system on site, normally which allowed for detailed employee hands-on experience for training and production on the actual system. At this site, Toyota, which is Fremont, at this site, Toyota produced a high quality small car for GM that would turn a profit and meet emission guideline called the Chevy Nova. And Toyota was able to show firsthand GM all of its secrets on how they made like the best built and most reliable cars, as well as cars were coming off the line at this plant, setting near perfect quality ratings, and the GM has significant cost savings due to high efficiency of like car production. And under Toyota's on-site production system, they did not have hundreds of misabled cars like some of the other GM plants. And for the disadvantages piece, I spoke on GM managers did not learn as much as they could have learned from Toyota in this joint venture of NUMMI. In the way the joint venture was minimized more learning opportunities for GM managers, whereas Toyota had many of its managers who were hired and learned a lot by doing. And GM did not place more of its managers at the NUMMI plant, which is which was a mistake. And the GM should have ensured that many more of his managers filled the managerial positions at NUMMI, so they could have many managers like learning by doing. And the Toyota had the power of filling many of managerial positions, and all of these managers learn by doing and being hands-on, which was the more useful way to learn. However, it did not allow like enough opportunity for GM managers to learn. So Toyota kept a great deal of managerial power by controlling the managerial hiring process and hiring managers of their choice, many of whom were like most likely already affiliated with Toyota or who were like in compliance with their management style. And GM Other locations had a problem transferring these designs and methods to GM's legacy plants in Detroit is where like the problem occurred, and the new Saturn line was used to try to learn and capture these new methods, but the old GM corporate habits and unwillingness to fully accept change minimize its progress. In many ways, senior management was stuck in the old ways of doing things at the plants. But this venture, unfortunately, was like not successful, or was not as successful.
The first issue faced in the situation was ineffective transfer of knowledge. Two different companies getting together will have two different cultures, two different knowledge, and it should be incorporated in a better way. The joint venture between GM and Toyota had different goals for both parties, leading to an ineffective transfer of knowledge. The impact on the organizations led GM to struggle to incorporate Toyota's learning into plants, existing plants, and limiting the potential benefits from the collaboration overall. Both GM and Toyota share responsibility for this problem, as the goals and expectations were not aligned from the outset. As a solution, we can implement enhanced learning opportunities that create an environment that fosters continuous learning and knowledge sharing, increase the involvement of managers from both parties in joint ventures to ensure hands-on experience and practical learning opportunities. To implement such solution, we can develop the joint training programs, workshops, and collaborative projects that encourage cross-pollination of skills and insights, facilitate direct interaction between managers to enhance the mutual learning. As a benefit, practical learning opportunities fosters a deeper understanding of successful practices. Direct interactions between managers facilitates effective knowledge transfer, and not to include the mixing of cultures as well.
So the second issue that occurred was that there was a major cultural gap between GM and Toyota. They both had different expectations and goals that they wanted out of the joint venture. GM wanted to learn how to make good quality cars at a fast rate with an improved management system, whereas Toyota sought to diffuse the trade issues between the United States and Japan, along with gaining experience with the American unionized labor and with American suppliers. This could have been avoided if there was a strategic alignment in their joint venture, clearly stating what each company expected and wanted out of the venture, along with what was expected out of the plant and the employees, ultimately coming to a shared objective that each party was happy with.
The third issue we mentioned was the lack of long-term transformation in industry practices. As humans, sometimes we get so hung up on the short-term benefits and making us oblivious to how we may benefit in the long run. The opportunities for industry transformation, companies sometimes opt for short-term gains rather than embracing long-term changes. Impact on the organization makes it focus on short-term gains, and it hinders the industry's ability to undergo necessary transformations to remain competitive. The responsibility of that issue lies on the leadership and decision makers within the organization itself. They're responsible for determining the strategic direction and approach to industry changes. As a solution, we can adapt flexible production systems. This solution fosters a culture of adaptability within organizations to facilitate the implementation of successful practices from joint ventures. We can invest in change management strategies that address resistance to new practices, encourage an organizational mindset that values innovation, embraces change, and is open to incorporating successful strategies from joint ventures into existing operations. The solution of flexible adaptation of production systems will help the adaptability, encourage the adaptability, which is a crucial factor in today's rapidly changing business environment. And it also fosters a culture of innovation and continuous improvement. And that improves the organization's ability to implement successful practices from joint ventures in the long run as well. As for strategies, the more involvement of CEO or VP, the quicker the implementations of NUMMI with an alignment of expectations from joint ventures, and also the required training program for every manager and employee, step-by-step process rather than letting them figure it out by themselves or through a trial and error strategy.
So with NUMMI, they were able to drop grievances down from hundreds a year to less than 10 per year, along with gaining the participation of their employees in the suggestion program of 70%, which is huge considering before no employees ever spoke out or tried to come up with better ways to improve the manufacturing process or building of cars. Also, over the first 4 years, only an average of 2.5% of employees were absent from work, where before GM would have had to go across the street to a bar to grab individuals to work because so many workers had called off. So, I mean, ultimately, the idea of NUMMI was spot on and would have been a long-term success had GM implemented the new change of culture across the company faster. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.